Drugs in the air, but girl, tonight it's doing nada. Shot at the shot, and you know we got the weed. Hey.
I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just tryna catch a vibe. He wanna hit it from the back, he said he likes the way I ride it. He poppin' fans, and I just can't let him slide. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just tryna catch a vibe. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just tryna catch a vibe. He wanna hit it from the back, he said he likes the way I ride it. He poppin' fans, and I just can't let him slide. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just tryna catch a vibe. Yeah, good girl turned savage, I've been tryna turn it up. Yeah, I've been out here living lavish, said he's liking what he sees, nails done, hair relaxed.
You already know what it is. It's King Ace Network. Moments of Clarity. King Ace in the motherfucking building. I'm in the building with
Bay Music Official. I came all the way out here from Philly tonight to be here. What's up, y'all? Happy to be here.
Appreciate you, Queen. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Yo, you've been doing a lot of work lately.
Thank you.
Like non-stop work. Like, where did the work ethic come from? Like,
I think it stems from my parents. Honestly, my dad's a business owner, and he came from poverty, extreme poverty. And from a child to about 17, I watched him kind of like build himself. So he has a gutter business. He does contracting work, and it started off in a Suburban with like construction paper on the side of his car. And I just seen him go, like he was always a go-getter. And then he taught me how to flip stuff. Like we would go yard sailing.
he taught you how to flip stuff?
Yeah. So we would go like yard sailing every weekend. And we would buy stuff for like 50 cents, $1. And then I would see him go flip it for like 50, 60. And he would, so I kind of learned my hustle from my dad.
Kid?
Yeah. And then now my dad's like super successful and has a great business. So that kind of encouraged me to start my own business. And then with the music, it all kind of ties in. So I love moving. I stay moving. I can't sit still.
So out of all the music you've been dropping,
yeah,
like
5. I did 5.
Five singles in what? 30 days?
3 weeks.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. My personal favorite. All right, I like How I Feel.
Mm-hmm.
I like How I Feel.
That one wasn't planned. That was like a freestyle in the studio that night because I was feeling that way, and everyone liked it, so I posted it for them. But that wasn't planned.
I know this is not a new song, but you kind of re-dropped it, right?
Right.
Worthless. One of my favorite. I think it's probably my favorite song from you.
You know what I like about that when you told me that was that wasn't one that I sent to you. And this is like for everyone watching too, like artist wise, like there's so many interviews that, we get offered where we might see as fit like to go. But when you really come across someone who wants to interview and they do their research on you as well, it makes me feel valued as an artist. It doesn't make me feel like I'm paying to be here and anybody can be here. It makes me feel like you actually like what I'm doing. You like my sound and like what I'm writing about. So I appreciated that when you told me that because I was like, yeah, that was the one that I sent him. He really was like looking at my stuff.
When I first got put onto your music, like I said, when I saw, I try not to judge people off image and perception, but because of all the female artists that's out right now, they all talking the same thing.
Yeah.
I swear, when I was like, I'm gonna give her a listen, I thought that's what I was gonna hear from you. But then when I started listening, I'm like, oh no, she on emo shit. Like,
you think it's emo?
Okay, the reason why I say emo is because music, period, is like emo. Like, all right, my favorite type rap is conscious rap. My favorite rapper is Joe Budden. So I make a lot of music like that too. So when I say emo, it's like I feel the emotion coming from your lyrics, and it'd be like, oh, I felt that.
I mean, I do wear a lot of black though too.
So I felt that, and you pronounce every word properly on a record.
Thank you. So I actually had a small speech impediment, like growing up. I had like a minor lisp. So that's...
I did too.
Yeah, that is like, I love when I hear people tell me that because I worked on that like my whole life. So, thank you.
I want to give a shout out to my man Rob. I know you couldn't be here today. Give a shout out to my man Rob. Shout out to Double Life Entertainment. Shout outs to everybody in that movement.
At my studio, Rotation Records.
Shout out to everybody. So what or who drew you to music?
My traumas, my experiences, and I was always an introvert. So I kind of stayed to myself, and I went through a very traumatic experience, and like we can get into that in more depth later. But just to kind of generalize, it was kind of my outlet. So I wasn't always comfortable sharing exactly what I was going through all the time with my close family and friends because I didn't want to be judged. And so I would just write about it. And that's kind of where the music came from because I felt comfortable and I finally felt like free of everything I was kind of keeping in.
So how do you feel about the music industry with women right now? Do you feel like it's easier for women to get on? Because I remember there was a large gap where a lot of female artists felt like they was, could not get on, could not be in certain situations or certain circles. But now I'm starting to see that there's more female artists working their way through the industry. How do you feel about that?
I think that it's easier for us to market ourselves. I'll definitely say that. And I've always said that because we can show our bodies. We're not saying that men can't. Not saying that men can't. But, generally, we have a little bit more to work with and kind of like play around with. And they always say sex sells. And even though that's really not my cliche with, my brand and stuff like that, it does, unfortunately. So I think as far as the music goes, I think it's pretty even playing ground when it comes to the actual sound and quality of the music.
Right.
Because I think nowadays, for me personally, what I experienced from performing so much this year and being around different personalities
Hold on. She does a lot of performances. For you to be in Philly, this girl does performances everywhere. Every other weekend, I see her driving, going to performances.
I was actually supposed to be in Orlando today, but we had our interview, so I decided to be.
That's like you take the initiative and do that on your own, and I appreciate that in certain artists.
Thank you.
Well,
because I think a lot of people get caught up in social media, which is kind of going back to what I was saying. Like, it's a big popularity contest out here, and a lot of people won't admit it, but I'm one of those people that I'll kind of say what everyone else is thinking, I found. But with that being said, I think that all ties into people getting so caught up in social media. I really wanted to do my footwork and get out and actually talk to people. I mean, like, I'll hug people that are like in the crowd and stuff, like watching me that I've seen were supporting me the whole time or singing along with me. Like, I like to really connect with my audience, not just on social media, but in real life, which is like huge.
So describe yourself as an artist. What type of artist do you think you are? What makes you different from everyone else?
I would say just being myself. And I know that's so like not probably the best answer, but I have inspirations. I have inspirations that I listen to, but I'm not influenced, if that makes sense. I kind of will get up and I don't really plan what I post. I just kind of post like how I'm feeling that day, and I'm like, all right, so this is a real moment of mine and I'm just gonna share it. I'm kind of like my brand is more like a vlog. If you kind of look at how I post, it's not just like one thing all the time. It'll be my music, and then I incorporate like my work in with that, and then like I do my makeup stuff. So I kind of take my followers along with me and my days and kind of make it like fun. There was a couple of days when I stopped posting and people were literally messaging me and they're like, are you okay? Are you going through something? Like, I haven't seen you post.
Because they got so used to you posting something.
Yeah, I was like, okay, guys, you guys like this shit. So once I see that something's working for me, I kind of just build off of that. But I can hop on any beat, honestly. I'm very versatile. And I make music off of emotion, not off of plan, if that makes sense.
So you got the music going.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup and modeling. When did that come into play?
I'll be honest with everyone. COVID came through. Pandemic. I'm a dog walker. So about 50% of my business was washed. I was one of those businesses that was like very affected because everybody was home and I wasn't needed and I was considered a necessity. So I said, okay, what else can I do from home?
Is that what they told you? Like the dogs that you were walking, is that what they told you?
Yeah, well, it's an extra expense because at that point they could walk the dogs themselves.
Because they're home.
Their kids,
Okay.
neighbors. And then with my hours being cut, their hours were also being cut because they're all working from home or they're not working. So, you know, the whole economy was affected with that.
Right.
So I was just a part of that chain. And so I said, what can I do from home and still make money that I'm good at? And I already had my Instagram. I had my modeling background. So I said, okay, let's show them my makeup. So I just went ahead and did my own brand. And we always said like, oh, we're dripping. So I was like, all right, Drip Cosmetics. I thought it was catchy. So I made a little jingle for it. I didn't post it yet, but I actually have a jingle for that and everything.
Okay.
But I did. I took that and I ran with that for about a year. And then my dog walking started coming back. So for me, I'm at the point right now with Drip Cosmetics. I still have my face scrubs and stuff like that on hand. My lashes, my eyebrow pencils, and stuff like that. That will all be back in January. But right now I'm just doing my skincare line with that. But that's where that came from.
Okay. So the modeling career, when did you start modeling?
I started modeling as a teenager, and that stemmed from self-esteem issues, to be honest with you. That goes back to me being an introvert. When I was, growing up, I have 2 different colored eyes, one blue, one green. I always had the red hair. So, and before I got into makeup, I have no eyebrows. My eyebrows are microbladed. I'm not fake about that kind of stuff. So,
Wait, what you mean?
like they're blonde.
Okay.
So like they blend in. So like everyone would always make fun of me all the time.
Because you don't see them.
I don't look like everyone else. There wasn't a lot. I was like the only redhead in my school. So I was kind of like different looking, I guess, compared to, all the other girls, the brown hair, brown eyes, or blonde hair, blue eyes. And it kind of made me say, okay, I want to take these things that make me different. And I want to make them my strong suits.
Okay.
So when I started sending my eyes out to a couple of these photographers and stuff that I was finding, they were taken to it like crazy because it was so rare they never found it. So the modeling kind of made me like glorify and love myself for stuff that I was always made fun of. So that's what really made me take to it. And then obviously, once I got signed into a contract, it was good for the first couple of months.
You're published model, right?
Published.
Okay.
They published me, but the stuff that comes with that world, when you're freelance, you have creative control all the time.
Right.
And you do stuff that makes you feel good. You come up with your own ideas and your own concepts. When you're signed, you have to go by everything they say. They had very strict criteria. I was 5'8", and they wanted me to be like 120 pounds. So through that, even though it was great, like I said, the pictures were awesome and everyone was loving it, I was destroying myself because I developed an eating disorder. I was starving myself. So
all of those stories about models and developing eating disorders and
very real
bulimia and stuff are very real because, wow, I mean,
they will drop you. They will tell you that. They say, you have this amount of time to get down to this size, or, we can't work with you. We're going to have to let you go.
And I know that put a lot of stress on you to make that possible.
Mm-hmm.
So were you able to do it?
I was. And you guys can go on my Instagram. If you guys go back a couple years, you'll see how small I was. I was like skin and bone. When my family and my friends started coming to me and accusing me of being on drugs, something I'm going to smoke weed, but like something I've never done. Like I've never dabbled in anything else my entire life. Like I barely drink. But when my family was getting concerned, I was like, okay, so I'm definitely malnourished. So that's when I was like, I need to take a step back. I can still model, but I don't have to be with them.
Right.
So my freelance actually ended up working out better for me anyway. I started getting like sponsorships. I started getting other brands that wanted to work with me. I found my photographer that I still work with till this day, like 7 years later. And we do our own photo shoots and we've been published on our own. So it's worked out better for me going freelance. But I did learn a lot from them. Like how to post, how to pose, the general stuff that I can take and apply anywhere.
Right. So did modeling tie into your music, or is that 2 separate things?
I didn't do music because of my modeling, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I do use my modeling to tie in with Bay. I'll do photo shoots for Bay. A lot of the sponsors I'm getting recently are because they support Bay, the artist, and they want me to wear their stuff to perform, you know, get their name out there. But it all ties back in with modeling because I do my photo shoots. So, and they also help me in return because some of these photos I'll get published with. Now this brand's published too. So it helps Brittany D. Hart Modeling, and it also helps Bay Music Official.
It's a beneficial thing.
Partnership type of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So how did your connection with Rob happen?
Rob needed a dog walker. That's how me and Rob met. And I was just, you know, regular old Brit walking my dogs out here. And I was snooping, not like purposely, but it was like right on his freaking fridge. He had this big paper and it said Zodiac Records. And I was like, Zodiac Records, what is that? And no one knew. I was a music listener, like huge before I got into like recording myself. So I was still like really into that stuff, but I was always like, no one knew I wanted to sing or rap. So I was like, So I walked his dog for about a month or two until I got comfortable with him. And then I finally shot him a text and I was like, do you do music? Or like, what is this stuff that I keep saying? Like, he got into it with me. He told me he had an artist at the time. He was working with this label for about like 10 or 15 years. And he was just doing like the marketing part of stuff and, you know, sending out their emails and doing stuff like that. So he knows how to move behind the scenes really good. And I was interested and he said, are you interested in doing music? And I said, well, I was thinking about it, but I don't know. I need some kind of validation. I don't know if this is my thing or not.
Right.
And so I kept sending Rob freestyles in the car for like 3 months. And Rob will tell you himself, like, he was like, okay. Because it was like all Nicki Minaj stuff. So he thought I was like one of them girls that was just, oh, I like Nicki and I want to rap. So he was like, all right. So then he sent me to rotation and he said, make a song, send me the song back. And then he said, we can really talk. Because he said, anybody can re-rap someone else's song. The flow's already there for you. It's already set up. The words are already there. He said, I want to hear you.
Okay.
So I said, okay. So Rob finally gave in. I did my song. He liked it. I went and recorded in his home base with his artist. It was almost like he sent me out and then he like let me in after I was in. And then I recorded with him for about a year. He mentored me and everything like that. He ended up getting signed and went his, you know, other way. And then me and Rob stuck together through that and he signed me. And then from there, we just took the ball and rolled with it. I haven't stopped moving since.
I got a question for you, right? Because of your music and because I listen to your music, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference, or is there any difference from Bay Music Official and Brit?
I think Brit is more to herself. And I think that Bay is more out there because I feel like when I turn into artist mode, people expect that I'm supposed to be like an entertainer. So when I know that I'm in this entertaining role, I'm kind of more fearless. When I'm Brit, I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, oh God, like, but I know that people are supporting my music, so I'm more comfortable, honestly, as Bay, because I feel like Bay is when I'm my happiest form. And Brit, I feel like I still kind of have to prove myself a little bit.
Okay, when you're recording, which version are you?
Brit.
It's the reason why I'm asking.
No, it's definitely Brit because my music's more mental health based. And if it was more Bay is more vibe. Bay is more happy-go-lucky.
Okay.
Bay helps Brit. Bay represents Brit. And Bay is Brit's voice, if that makes sense.
No, that's actually where I'm going with this. Because of the type music that you make, right? It's kind of like...
Bad bitches can be sad bitches, too.
Right. Like, I understand Bay Music Official, but it's like when I'm listening to your music, like Worthless, when I was listening to Worthless, right? I didn't hear Bay Music Official. I heard Brit.
Yeah, that was definitely Brit.
I heard Brit's story. And after listening to it, it's like you don't really have a persona.
Yeah. You know, me and Rob were
almost
talking
like
about
transparent. And I like that in artists, you know, like, is it easy for you to do that, being an empath?
It was a change for me. The performing has helped me a lot. When I first started, it was like pulling teeth to get me to go out because I was like, Rob, I'm nervous. Like, I can't. Like, I'm gonna look fat on stage. Like, I'm just an overthinker 100%. I'm a girl. I have anxiety. Everyone knows mental health advocates. So like sometimes my anxiety will really like it was stopping a lot of plays for me early on.
Right.
So I had to learn how to control that. But once I seen that I was getting a good reaction from just being consistent, not even that people like my music, but they seen how hard I was working and
Right.
how passionate I was, they were fucking with me. So I was more comfortable, and the performances are like practices for me. So now I love to perform. I look forward to that shit.
So when it comes to you making music and rapping about your trauma, right? Where does that trauma stems from?
You want like the specific situation?
Okay, I guess the song "Worthless."
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one, because that's
Where did that where did you pull that from?
so. When I was 18, I actually did go to college. I had a partial scholarship for cheerleading. I did that pretty much my whole life. So I came back home for my family. My dad, called me, and I was his oldest daughter at the time. So I did come home from school, and I got a part-time job when I was living with him. And I met this guy, this awesome guy. And his dad had passed away at the time. So immediately we just took to one another, and he didn't want me to leave him. It was my first real love. I'll say that. It was my first serious relationship. So I didn't want to leave his side either. It was just one of those things that was very young and in love.
Okay.
And so I left home. And this is where the biggest message for me of this whole song, like for all the women and men and just like domestic abuse, comes into play, because I rushed into that. I told you what I just did because I wasn't thinking long term. I wasn't thinking how that was going to affect me and my dad's relationship.
What were the reasons why you rushed into that relationship so fast?
I think it was because my parents are divorced, and I was always a mommy's girl. Like, I lived with my mom my whole life. She raised me, and I was always kind of fighting for that relationship with my dad. So I think this comes back to daddy issues. But I don't necessarily like to say I have daddy issues, because I don't like that the females that we're labeled the ones with the issues because of our fathers, because we're not the ones with the issues.
Hold on. As men, we get labeled too.
No, but I'm saying this is like for the daddy issue girls. I don't think it's fair to say that we're the ones with the daddy issues if our daddies are the ones with the issues that aren't consistent in our lives, that don't choose to be a part of it, that don't reach out. So I don't really like that term, daddy issues. But that, I think that's where it stemmed from, was just that want for male attention and love, and feeling like I finally found someone who gave a fuck about me consistently.
So are you admitting that
I felt needed
because of the lack of attention from your dad?
Mm-hmm.
So that is what made you cling on to. Now, this relationship that we're talking about, was the guy older than you?
Yeah, by a year.
Only by a year?
Only by a year. And what made us go, oh my God, was my birthday is July 16th, and his, ironically, was July 15th. So we were like, oh my God, it was meant to be. And then we just like never.
So the relationship was perfect in the beginning?
I'm going to say the first 3 months. But I think that was because when I had met him, his dad had just passed away, and he didn't have much. I was the one with the car. I was the one with the job. And I was the one with more consistency and independence.
Okay, hold on. So when you met him, would you say you were having father issues?
No, I was in the process of still rebuilding. That's when I just moved in with my dad. So we weren't 100% yet. So there was still room for me to kind of be like, okay, or I could have stood my ground and said, okay.
He just lost his dad at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that y'all were trauma bonding in the relationship?
100%. Because even though his dad did pass away, he told me one of his biggest burdens was that they weren't getting along when his dad had passed away. And so like we did bond over our relationships with our fathers.
Right.
That's initially where it started from. And he did have a daughter when I met him at the time. And I was 18 years old, and the child's mother was not around. She would just drop her off and leave her with us. So that was another reason why, I grew with him, and he took to me, because I was raising his daughter pretty much. And I knew nothing about that shit, honestly, at the time. But I did the best I
you were
could.
still young,
Yeah.
being put in a stepmom situation.
Right.
Yeah,
Now, this is the crazy part. We had her so much, I was missing school because I was doing part-time classes at and I had her so much. I said, listen, I can't keep missing school. I said, the mom's not here. I said, are you sure 100% that this is your child? And he said, well, why are you asking me that? And I said, well, you're not on her birth certificate. So something's not right there. Turned out to be 0% his kid after we took care of her for like a whole year.
Wow. So basically, if it wasn't for you, he probably would have never known.
Right. Now, some people might look at that negatively and be like, well, like, why did you like even want to know? But when the responsibility falls solely on you and it wasn't in your control and it affects stuff that you spent a very long time to try to build, that's when I had to like pull the halt on it a little bit. I'm like, listen, we need to figure something out because I can't keep doing this. Like,
right.
So that's what honestly made me do it. Not because I was being like vindictive or a jealous stepmom or whatever you want to say.
Out of all of that y'all was going through in that relationship, when did the abuse come?
The abuse came into play when I started opening my mouth and kind of like, obviously I told you all the stuff he went through, right? It's a lot of trauma on his end too.
Right.
So he was one of those people that would project his emotions and what he was feeling on others. And I was already somebody who was depressed and had very bad anxiety because my best friend had died when I was 15 and I met him at 18. So I was still getting through that. So I'm like, listen, I'm going through my own stuff too. I'm trying to help you, but you're not helping me at all. I can't keep, carrying this stuff. So the way I was reacting and when I was like kind of checking on, I guess you can say, like, yo, I need some respect. There was no conversation. It was, I would get backhanded, like just in the middle of talking. I would go to my dog walking. I would come back and I would get accused of cheating. Oh, you're probably fucking your clients. You weren't there, da 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 da. He started suffocating me with pillows. So it got worse and worse as time went on. So when I got to the point where I felt like I was going to get killed, which it shouldn't have gotten that far.
Right.
But sometimes it takes that. And it took me literally like being scared for my life to finally be like, what the f am I doing?
Okay. How long did the abuse
go on? I was with him for 4 years. All 4 years I was with him.
The whole 4 years?
Whole 4 years. Up until like a week. Yeah, the week before I left that house. Yeah, because I miscarried and he still put his hands on me after I miscarried. And I was in like so much pain. And that's when I was like, you literally are the scum of the earth because I'm in the worst form of my body as a woman.
A piece of shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
A piece of shit.
It was really bad.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but I'm the type of person where I take all of that. When I was going through it, I didn't understand why. But I feel like now with the platform I do have, it took me a few years to find music, obviously. I wish I would have gotten into it a little bit sooner. But I know why I didn't. None of that stuff happened. If I would have found music, then maybe I wouldn't have went through that and I wouldn't be able to help someone else.
There's stuff to talk about too. You wouldn't like the fact that you went through all of that trauma in a relationship gives you a great aspect on relationships. Do you think that there's warning signs of being with an abusive partner?
Now I do know. When I was going through it, that was the learning experience for me. Now I do know. And it starts with small little control things. And it stems with insecurities. And that comes with like, this is how it started, for example. This is what I'm trying to say. What are you wearing? Why are you wearing that today? Okay, I'm walking some dogs. Well, that spandex is too tight. Well, it's 80 degrees outside. I'm not wearing pants. Well, who are you wearing shorts for? Dude, what are you talking about? So like small little things like that, that's a trigger. He's already getting triggered just from you.
Okay. Are you saying small things like that is a trigger for the abusive guy?
The abusive guy.
Are you saying that those are signs?
Those are signs
of being with a man that is abusive and controlling and stuff like that.
Those are early signs that it's only going to get worse. Okay. That's basically like, in a visual sense, someone dipping their toes in the water before they go into the ocean. They're going to see how cold the water is. They want to see how much they can get in the water. They want to see how far they can get before they start getting the shells and get a little scratched. So I kind of felt like he was kind of testing his limits with me to see how far he could kind of push himself on me. And once he seen that I wasn't fighting back all the time, for me, I couldn't, because I would freeze up because I was so in love with him. When he would flick on me, his eyes would go black and I didn't recognize like who he was. And it would scare the shit out of me. And I would just look at him and he would just keep boom, boom, boom. And I would just be staring at him. And I'm like, I can't hurt you. Like, I couldn't believe it was him who was doing that to me. So it was horrible. Yeah, it was a horrible time in my life, honestly.
So what triggered in your mind for you to finally walk away?
I can tell you the exact situation actually. So he was cheating on me. I was pregnant. And when we found out I was pregnant, he acted like he was so happy. He said he was going to go to therapy finally because there was a child now involved. He wanted to change because he said he didn't want a broken family like we both came from.
Right.
So because of that, I said, all right, but you really have to go to therapy and we have to go together because I want to be there. So he never went. So when he didn't go, and I was like, I was 3 months pregnant at the time. And I said, I haven't seen you start to make any initiative, towards this. And he was like, oh, he was giving me like little side remarks and excuses as to why he didn't want to go. We were sleeping and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and this girl called him and it was a girl that he worked with. And I would pick him to and from work because he didn't drive and stuff. So he was cheating on me. So obviously I flipped out.
Like anyone would. Like anyone would.
I answered the phone, everything, the whole nine. And how he chose to react was to put his hands on me. And I didn't miscarry that night. So I don't think that was the cause of my miscarriage, was actually being abused. But a day or two after that, I was on a dog walk. And that's when I lost my kids. Like I wasn't even doing anything. I was literally just working. And I just remember just like going through it. And I had to leave work that day. And when I told him about it, he left me in the bathroom like by myself. He wouldn't drive me to the ER, nothing. I was like, can you please take me? I'm in so much pain. He would not drive.
Wow.
He left me that night to go hang out with her. And I reached out to her again and I threatened the shit out of her. I did. We already went to court for this shit. It's already a wrap. But I threatened the shit out of her. And he came back and really put his hands on me. And I told you, after I miscarried, I woke up to the EMTs like giving me oxygen. And
so you blacked out.
I completely blacked out. I don't know what he did still to this day that made me like passed out, but I woke up to them like reviving me pretty much. I ended up leaving and going to my best friend's house. I left my own apartment. That was my apartment. I left him there, called his mom, and I said, you need to come get him. I can't even go back there. He took my dog and all my cats. I still haven't seen them till this day.
So all of this was going on and no one knew?
Nobody knew. Now my dad knew that we were arguing, but he didn't know it was like to the extent of me being abused every day and stuff like that. Like he thought it was just, the regular, like, oh, he's getting on my nerves. Like,
because this is a very this is a topic where it's very touchy, but it's also very common now because there are a lot of women that are coming out and expressing how they were abused,
even in the industry.
Like that. Yeah, but my number one question, right, is, and I don't want no women to feel away, right? But my number one question is, why don't y'all leave sooner? Like, I think as a man, right, fellas, as men, right, if your woman or your baby moms or your girlfriend was hitting you on a repeated like thing, I think something in us would trigger and be like, yo, I'm out of here.
You know what it was for me?
Gone.
It was, I worked so hard every apartment and every place we ever had was always in my name. Like that was my shit.
Okay.
So for me, it was like, you can do this to me, but guess what? You ain't running me out of my own crib.
Right. You the one that got to
You got to step. And there was, right. Trust me, there was multiple times when I would kick this dude out. I had broken windows, up the fire escape, ripped the whole door frame off my door to break in to get to me.
Wow.
I could not get rid of dude. And he didn't have family. So the only person I called was his mom. And if we want to get into that, that's how I caught my charge. So his mom really wasn't shit. And that was not no safe blanket for him.
She enabled
it. She was not there. And she knew what he was doing to me. And she still was like, I don't want to deal with him. I'm sorry. You chose to deal with that.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So going through all of that and then being into music, I don't want to say that you happy that you've gone through that, but like we were saying before, had you not go through all of that, then you wouldn't even be able to speak about those experiences in your music.
I think the only trauma, like I said, that I really experienced that could amount to the same amount of pain was literally just losing my best friend. And I think, that probably would have been where the painful side of myself came from. And then obviously the family stuff. But that's also another pretty regular topic, people passing away and family. So I'm not going to say I like, that sounds psycho. I didn't like that I went through it, but it is cool that I have a different angle to kind of come in with.
Yeah.
Because outside of domestic abuse, Molly Cobain, shout out to you too. He's a comedian, very well-known comedian down in Philly. And he found me when I was very, very new. One of my first shows, actually. And he knew I was mental health. And he shed light with me with their industry and said, comedians are actually the most depressed people there are. And that's why we do what we do. He said 80% of them are actually, like suicidal. And they do what they do because it makes them happy to make other people laugh.
It's the same thing like with artists. A lot of people don't know. They want the lifestyle. They want everything that comes with it.
Right.
But most artists go through depression.
Oh my God. Well, there's a lot of pressure.
Everything. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure. It's living up to standards, living up to needs. And in the end, people don't know that mentally that bothers you. And as well as trauma bonding, when you're fucked up, right? Sometimes we just be fucked up. When you're fucked up and you latch on to another person who's fucked up, both of y'all bonding over being fucked up.
Right.
Like,
and then you're talking about it.
Yeah, we're talking about being
now, whatever the fuck he was mad about, we're over here like, oh shit, you're right. Like,
that's exactly how this goes all the time. And that is the true definition of trauma bonding, where it's a revolving door of, oh, you went through this? Oh, wow. I never found nobody I could talk to. So we both can talk about this, but then now we only getting to know each other through our trauma.
Right.
We're not paying attention to who we really are as a person. So now you start seeing things that you never saw before.
Who I was before this trauma.
Exactly.
Or who I am without the trauma.
Exactly.
Right.
The trauma bonding is something that's, I won't say it's a bad thing, but I think that's another reason why a lot of relationships don't work.
Yeah.
Because instead of getting to know a person before the trauma, that we latch on off of our negative life experiences.
Right.
And I'm just glad that you were able to get out of that situation.
No, thank you.
Able to be better and do better, like one of your songs.
Yeah, do better.
And be able to have the confidence that you have now, because going through all of that, do you think you had mental issues before that experience?
Oh, 100%. I 100% did. And it wasn't anything where it was harmful towards anyone. It was more so harmful towards myself. Depression, like I said, was horrible. And just like acceptance was always a big thing for me. And as an adult now, I laugh at it because I barely hang out with anybody. Like, I'm barely like a lone wolf, and I have my very close circle that I'm very close with. But, as a kid, you always want to be liked. So I think that always affected me a lot. Like I said, I was always bullied. And yeah, my music I fit in somewhere, but I fit in my own. I'm respected for being different. Kind of like my modeling. That's how I'll put it.
But that's exactly why I listen to you and I respect you, because you're different than what I hear on a regular basis. I told you, I thought I was going to hear the pop the pussy on the handstand, put it on the sideburns.
That vibe song a little different. I was like, I hope he don't think that I'm like this kind of artist now because of my one song.
No, I like that because you were able to be versatile on it, and you switched up your flow and everything. But
well, honestly, I ran into a DJ at a show.
Still was dope.
Thank you. And he goes, I love your music, but it's so sad. He was like, you make a motherfucker really sad, man. He was like, let's hear a happy song from you. So that like stuck with me. I was like, I got you. Like, I can do it.
I ain't gonna lie. If you want to be sad, Or if you going through some shit and you need to listen to some shit that's gonna get you in that mood, listen to Bay Music Official. I'm telling you,
Hey.
you're gonna be like, oh, I went through that too.
Yeah. I was about to say, my music's kind of like that. It's like, oh shit, she went through that. Like, if you really do take time and listen to my lyrics, I tell stories. You guys can learn like so much about me just from listening to like a lot of my music.
So who's some female artists that's on your radar that you want to work with?
Taylor Swift is Rob and I call myself the hip hop Taylor Swift. I love how she story tells, but I have a little bit more swag with me. So that's if I could kind of like categorize myself,
Right.
he is. I love her the most. Halsey, I love Halsey. I think we would make a dope song together with how cool her voice is and me rapping on it. And
I actually like Halsey.
I love Halsey.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a little not slept on, but she's not talked about enough.
Yeah, she's not. She's not, but she should be.
Yeah. And this is an old one. Chantel. I don't know if a lot of people know about Chantel.
Chantel.
Shonte.
Yeah, I know
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She has her own little flavor and style of music. And I don't know how I came across her, but I remember her from when I was like middle school. And I loved her like R&B kind of like style, but it was always still kind of poppy a little bit to me too. And her stuff was storytelling. It was like, kind of about like bad love or bad relationships. So I was like, okay, cool. I always listen to her. I'm going to think of one more that I really like too. I might go a whole different direction with this one and like throw you guys off. Yeah, this one's going to get you too. I really like Lady Gaga.
I actually thought you was gonna say Lady Gaga or Madonna.
My mom's Madonna. I know Madonna not from myself. I know Madonna from my mom. My mom loved Madonna and Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. My name's Brittany. My older brother's name is Justin. That's how deep it was. So a lot of like old like pop in 2000s is like my era and who I listen to a lot. So
when I listen to your music, I want to hear you with people like Tyler the Creator.
Oh,
I think
Yonkers.
your sound would go with Tyler the Creator. Machine Gun Kelly.
I don't actually listen to him.
For real?
I don't listen to Machine Gun Kelly. And not on purpose.
He's dope though.
Not
bro.
intentionally,
He's
but
dope.
that just wasn't one I like
He's
dabbled
dope.
with. I'm gonna check him out though. You said that.
Yeah, I fuck with Machine
What's his
Gun
genre?
Kelly. Actually, he just like he started rap hip hop,
Okay.
but now he does like the rock star.
Isn't that the one with Megan Fox?
Yes.
Oh, I would not ever get rap from him. I thought he was
Yes.
like.
Oh nah. He damn near bodied Eminem.
Save look.
Yeah.
Image. See what I'm saying though?
Yeah. He beat Eminem. He beat Eminem.
No.
beat Eminem.
Eminem. I can't forever forget
beat-
him. I
He beat
will
Eminem.
rap front and back every verse
Yeah.
of his. I love Eminem.
Oh, there's another one.
You said Logic before too.
Logic, yeah. I could hear you with Logic. I like Logic too. A lot of people don't show him no love, but I like his music.
I really liked him
what
after
he
he
stand
dropped
for.
that suicide awareness song.
Yeah.
I was like, I like you. a lot more.
That song right there could get you through some tough times.
Mhm.
They definitely could get you through some tough times.
He did a concert and had the kids come out and like a whole bunch of different people come out. I think it was one of the award shows and they all had like the suicide prevention number on their shirts and stuff. Yeah, he's dope.
So, are you and Rob working on an album right now for you?
Yes, I'm gonna announce this, and I'm gonna confidently announce it because I'm gonna do it. And I just don't like my content snatched from me before I get it done. But I know it's getting done, so I'm gonna announce it.
Okay.
Rob, I'm gonna announce it, Rob. But I'm actually doing a Christmas album. I was gonna do my own, but I thought of this idea a couple weeks ago, and I completely changed course on Rob and everyone. But I want to do a Christmas album with like 5 solid Christmas songs and remake them and do a bass Christmas album.
That's different. But you see, that's why I'm not I'm not gonna lie. The name, right?
Mhm.
The name Bay. It kind of threw me for a loop. But I actually like it now because it's just like it rings well with everything. You see how you just said
Bass Forbidden Fruit,
that and then the Bay Christmas. Say it again.
bass Christmas carols.
That shit just goes together. Like that shit just sound right.
Yeah.
A Christmas album. So you dropping it before or the day of?
Day of is the plan. And I think, yeah. If not, it will be done by New Year's, but the push date that I'm going for is the day
You
of
do
Christmas.
know that I need the exclusive before
Yeah.
everybody else.
I'll send it again.
Yeah, I need the exclusive
You
on
got the little
that.
sneak peek.
Any videos coming up?
On it goes. We're gonna start shooting that in January. We're gonna spend this month, just conceptualizing and coming up with a good idea and stuff because I want this one to be dope. My first video was great.
Which was
Do Better.
Do Better.
I was very new, like I said at the time, so we just wanted to get something out and start marketing and pushing because the song was doing so well. But this time around, we really do want to take our time and like have a good concept that you guys are watching, like a story from beginning to end with this one.
From a fan perspective, I really want a video from Worthless.
I told Rob that one too.
I can vision it in a way where you're not even in the video. You're not in the video till the very ending. I could see someone acting as you and someone acting as the other guy. And I could see that being a very cinematic video. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, see, this is when they say, don't talk too much. But like I said, I'm going to say it because I'm doing this shit. So if you guys do it, you ain't going to do it as good as me. But for Worthless, I actually wanted to do a documentary instead of a music video. I actually wanted to make that an entire documentary of domestic abuse and have that kind of playing in the background and then drop a video. Like I want to do a whole thing with that because I think that topic is something that's so broad and it's not just something that should be, oh, let's just play this song real quick. I think people do want to know what's behind those lyrics. And I think that I can raise more awareness with it. So I want to do like a black and white documentary with that.
That's a good idea. I could see that video being a very visionary type project. And I could see it being not a short film, but like one of those videos that's extended to like 7-8 minutes. I could see that being that type of video, kind of like how Eminem does a lot of his videos from back then when he was talking about his life. I could see like that video. I know I keep bringing up that song, but y'all gotta listen to the song.
You guys better listen to that song.
Yeah, you gotta listen to the song and get the reason why I keep bringing it up because
that song though, I really will say like that completely like conceptualizes like who I am.
Right.
The whole like what I stand on, why I do this, what brought me into it, and it kind of explains like why I move the way I do with relationships, how I am with like men. I'm a little bit harder to get through to. My standards are a little bit higher just because like I've experienced all of that stuff. So how I carry myself is really goes back to that song.
What is your relationship with men? Because I'm
open to dating, but I'm really okay with myself. Like I'm so busy. I keep myself so busy that I tend to run into the guys that are very like clingy. And so it always ends up not working out because they always say, oh, I get the selfish word thrown at me all the time because I'm always doing bae stuff and bae content and bae material. Or I always get, you don't have time for me. So until I can find someone that's like okay with me posting the way that I do and just kind of being this free spirit, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just really happy.
You don't post nothing crazy.
You don't think so? All right, look.
I know so.
I was talking to someone.
I know so.
I was talking to someone.
I know so.
And they threw at me, you think that I would really want to take you serious the way you post? You should consider opening an OnlyFans. I said, what do I post that's that big?
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I know
I don't think I'd be posting like some of these girls are posting.
You don't. Not even close to it.
And I still be moving and doing my shit. So that's why I just said, like, I don't think it's going to work with someone who doesn't really understand or is accustomed to like this kind of world that we're in. Because to someone that just has a 9 to 5.
You speaking life into me right now.
Like I feel like
I feel the exact same way right now.
They look at music like, okay, so what do you actually want your life though? Like you're a rapper. Yeah, I believe in this. Okay, so like what are you actually doing? What's your plan? What's your plan? This is my plan. They don't want to hear that shit. To them, this music shit is so unrealistic. until we're up there with Taylor Swift. All this stuff is just like cosplay.
No one is gonna see your vision. Unfortunately, I learned this the hard way. No one is gonna see your vision until it's actually becoming a visionary to other people. So to you, you know, to other people, to your friends, to families, they look at you like, oh man, you're Brit.
My mom loves Do Better.
Man, you're Brit.
Like my mom genuinely does support it, but I still like you can still tell. Like I just had a conversation with her the other day. She loves Do Better. I made a version with her. I'm gonna drop that. I'll send that to you too. It's really funny. But she got on like the beginning of it, and so she's like loves that I do my music and stuff. But she still pops the question to me like, "All right, Britt. So are you gonna go back to school? Like, what's your plan B? Like,
as parents,
she's like, you're gonna be 30 in 5 years, and you know you don't want to turn around. You're 30, and you're still trying to make this one song go." And I said, "Mom, I completely get you're trying to be realistic, but I said right now at this exact time, with where I'm at with my career."
Tunnel vision.
That is future negativity that I don't need manifested into my brain right now. Like
exactly.
That's not even where
I don't want to think about
what if
it doesn't happen.
Right.
On my mind, it's fucking happening, and that's that. Like hey yo, I might not have no plan B.
I told her
plan A gotta fucking work.
Right. I said, don't worry about it. I'll make it. And she's like, Brittany, that's not good enough for me. Like, what do you mean that's not guaranteed? I said, I'll make sure it is.
I'm gonna make sure it's fucking guaranteed. Yeah.
It'll be something between my modeling, my makeup, my dog walk, like between something, like I'm so well rounded and I did it on purpose because of that. And it's still not, I'm not working for no man. I'm not doing the 9 to 5. I still have complete control of what I want to do. And that was my biggest thing, like in life was, you know, I support everyone's hustle. I do. So like, I'm not knocking anybody that works 9 to 5 because sometimes you have to. But if you do have the access and the resources to do your own thing, like it's scary as shit because business will go up and down.
Nah, I'm actually ready. Like I'm building myself up to walk away from mine.
Oh, that's what's up. I'm
building myself
for that.
to walk away from mine, and the decision I'm making on it. Well, it's also because I'm signing a deal. So it's also because of me signing the deal, I'm going to need my schedule to be more free. But it's mainly because I feel like my 9 to 5 hours are holding me back.
Well, and who likes to be told, and I think this comes in with like what we do, like creative wise. Like, I don't know if it's just like our mentality or if it's, you know, others can relate to it too, but I hate that someone tells me what my value is. Like, I hate that they're like, this is the dollar I'm giving you for this hour. Like, I wrote worthless. You're not going to tell me what my worth is to be here for your hour.
Yeah, like
I just don't like that. I like to say, this is what I'm charging.
Exactly.
For my time.
And especially when you already, I feel like jobs, 9 to 5s, they don't understand. Like, they look at you as just an employee, but they don't understand.
We're little ants to them.
This employee is also an entrepreneur. I also have other businesses that I get income from. You feel me? I use your job to fund this.
But they think we're real small-minded, and
that's not what they see.
Yeah.
All they see is we clocking in every day. We need the job. I'm very comfortable with betting on myself.
Yeah, you have to be.
And that's
because if you don't bet on yourself, no one's gonna bet on you.
Exactly. And if you don't see a vision, other people ain't gonna see it.
Because you have to convince them. And who are you convincing if you're not convincing yourself?
So that's why like when it comes down to relationships, this life right here is like
a lot to take on.
I understand why people in the industry only date people in the industry. I finally really get it now because it's like those the only people that is going to fucking understand and understand how you feel.
No, but I will say I have tried.
Not all the time.
I've tried, and I will say that like jealousy does come into play, and when there's mutual territory and mutual grounds, you know, what word am I looking for? Like dominance, male dominance will come into play, and territories and stuff like that. So I did run into like one situation where I learned my lesson with that too. So I think if you are gonna be dating someone in the industry,
right,
this all goes back to, like I said, take your time and really get to know someone, because I love my music friends that I met, and they're probably the best conversations that I have because they understand they relate to me the most.
Okay.
But yeah, it comes with territory and grounds and stuff sometimes, at least in Philly. I don't know if that's everywhere, but it was a little hard.
So are you looking to date anyone, or you just gonna continue to?
I don't want to say I'm like looking. I'm not one of them girls that's like, oh my God, like I need to be with somebody. But like if someone dope came through and the vibes like we're cool, like yeah, I don't plan shit though. I'm not one of those people. No relationship I ever had was like, oh, like I want to be with you and we're gonna make this like a thing. It was just kind of like every day we just kind of grew.
Flowed with each other, and then that's when. I mean, I guess when you put it like that, right? That's how a relationship should be. It should be more organic, natural flow, not forced.
Yeah.
You know, stuff.
I
like
will
that.
say anybody that usually comes to me now, like off of the gram, and says like, oh, like you're so whatever, like I would love to chill. I don't really trust it now or believe it now because I have been, I'm not saying, you know, I'm a freaking like celebrity status, but in my little area, at least, like I really do have like I would say like a little bit more movement than I've seen around. And I think that comes with like people just getting excited to know Bay and not Brit. So now I kind of, it's harder to get to me, like I said, because I really want to know that you want to know me and not this girl you see on Instagram.
Right.
So for me, it's kind of hard. That's why I kind of stay to myself and don't really date, because that's the time I'm at right now. Is I don't know who really wants to know me and who just wants to, you know, smash.
So for the guys that's out there wondering how can they date Bay Music Official or Brit, give them 5 pointers right now on how they can get your attention.
Have a car. If you're going to be asking me for rides, and if not a car, like if you can't get to me, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You need to at least, like there's so many ways of transportation. There's no reason why you're depending on me. And if I am coming out to get you, have gas money. Okay. The second thing.
Those two had to be personal. Those two had to be personal.
No, very general. No, I just like a man that doesn't wait for me to
do everything.
Yes, like I've never been the female that was like stuff was done for me first. I always was the one that always makes the gestures first. I always am the ones that sends like the text in the morning or however you want to put it. Like I'm always the one constantly showing reassurance. I'm a very broken person, so I'm the type of person that I need to be reassured, not as like a everyday thing, but reassurance doesn't always mean, oh my God, baby, I love you. Like you can reassure someone in other ways and validate that like
exactly
they're a dope person without having it to be like all extra and shit. So I just think people get like they think I'm complicated, but I'm honestly so simple. I think that's what's hard about me. I just like someone who can take care of themselves and doesn't need me. Like with or without me, you're cool, but you want me around. You don't need me around.
And that's how it should be.
I want you around. I don't need you around.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Yeah. And I think that's another reason why some of our relationships didn't work, because we were so focused on needing someone. I need you. I need you. No, I gotta want you. Because if I need you, that means
I want to be with a boss, like another boss.
Without you, like I get when people be like, "Oh, without you, there's no me," but I can't have that mentality no more. Without you, baby, it's still gonna be a me.
I think people think I'm like that because they listen to my music, and I think they think I am like that. But they have to understand this was based off of my trauma with that guy that I said I was completely in love with, and that was my first real relationship. So a lot of the music you guys are hearing now, even though it's new, it's based off of my past trauma, my past experiences. So I'm not that girl anymore. That girl taught me a lot. So I think, you know, if you're looking for like a yes man type of girl, it's not me. I don't necessarily wear the pants. I like my guy to be more dominant, but I also don't like that control. I like to think for myself. I'm respectful, but I like to think for myself.
Okay, you know let me ask you a question, because I remember you said something about the guys.
I don't know, I'm kind of like a dude a little bit. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated now. Like you want a guy to be sweet, but you don't want him to be too dependable.
Just don't be up my ass. Just show me love, but don't be up my ass. You know what I'm saying?
So you're not affectionate.
I'm super affectionate when there's a time to be affectionate.
Okay. So when you're in work mode,
don't do that extra shit.
Don't when you're in work mode.
Hey, love you. Hope you're having a good day. All right, love you too. Hope you're having a great day. Like,
what if
I'll check back in with you in a little bit.
No, what if he wants to be there? What if he want his presence felt during these photo shoots, video shoots, interviews, and he's like,
well, that's not Brit. That's Bay. And honestly, with any dude, I always say, if you don't even see me bringing my sisters or my family or people like that to these things, and it's like strictly work and business for me, like, don't take that shit personal, but no. And that comes back to me just genuinely knowing what they're around for. Are you around for the perks and the fun, or are you really around, like, for me? And then after you get your foot in the door with me, I'll bring you around. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not doing that shit off the right off the gate. No.
As soon as we start talking, you think you're gonna come to an interview or a show or a photo shoot?
No, we ain't taking no pictures yet.
You know, this is why I asked. No, this is why I asked you this, because
none of that.
You don't post. You have not posted not one guy on your Instagram.
I know, I'm really good. I'm really good.
Like,
I was just in a really, like, a pretty serious relationship too, but nobody knew. Nobody knew a single thing.
How do you hide that?
You just don't post it. There's the secret.
That is like, that's like a number one argument that kills relationships now. Is,
but see, I used to be that girl.
You're not gonna post me?
I used to be that girl that would post everything, and then other people, oh, you date him? Well, so-and-so said so-and-so, and this. It just allows too much. It allows access from people that don't even matter.
It definitely allows access. Definitely.
And like I said, when it's someone that's doing the same thing as you, and you have mutual grounds and mutual territory, they don't need to know that shit. Because, you know, business is business. And like I said, I would never want my music or my career to ever be affected by anything in my personal life.
Right.
So my business relationships are always solid across the board. You can ask anybody. Everybody's paid up. There ain't no bad business, no bad blood. I'm respectful.
There you go, fellas. If you want to get next to Bay Music Official or Brit,
you're going to have to fight me. Like.
Once again, I want to thank you for coming. I want to salute you on your grind.
Thank you.
I've become a fan, so you know, anything you got, just send it to me. I'm gonna always promote it. I'm gonna always make sure I put people on. Shout outs to Philly. I need some more Philly artists to come up here and step up. There's a lot of artists here. Yeah, a lot of artists in Philly. Once again, shout out to Rob. Shout outs to everybody. 4K Clip Films. This was a really dope interview, man. I really like this.
Yeah, it was like therapeutic. It was a really cool interview.
Yeah, I really like. I don't like interviewing where it's just strictly the interview.
Yeah.
Like, I like when we can actually kick it.
Yeah.
You know, that's where it's chemistry at.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to salute to everybody for coming. This is King Ace Network. King Ace, Moments of Clarity, wrapping it up. Hey, this interview was actually better than the first one.
I was more comfortable this time to be do you see how I'm not holding back as much?
Yeah.
The baggy said he likes the way I ride it. He ain't popping fans, and I just can't let him slide. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just trying to catch a vibe. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just trying to catch a vibe. He wanna hit it from the back, he said he likes the way I ride it. He ain't popping fans, and I just can't let him slide. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just trying to catch a vibe.
A bad little bitch trying to catch a vibe. I put that pussy on him, now he hypnotized. We left the night, that 1942 got him feeling right. Good girls turn real nasty when the lights go out. He like I'm super nasty, fuck his ass all in the backseat. Lil' daddy drop a bag just to get the kitty freaky with it. That strong grip got you deep into it. Fuck them little hating ass bitches, they be vibing to it. Is you with it or what, nigga? Where the money, what's up, nigga? I'm tryna ride it, what's up, nigga? Is we vibing or what, nigga?
I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just trying to catch a vibe. He wanna hit it from the back, he said he likes the way I ride it. He ain't popping fans, and I just can't let him slide. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just trying to catch a vibe. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just trying to catch a vibe. He wanna hit it from the back, he said he likes the way I ride it. He ain't popping fans, and I just can't let him slide. I don't wanna catch no feelings, I'm just